in his whole entire life. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for tuning in today. I am Adam Ford, also known as AJ. I am here with my son Demarius. Demarius, say hi. Hi. All right, bud, run along, okay? All right, and we are having a special holiday edition today, and we're going to be talking about dads getting through the holidays. I have a very special guest, Hayley Lisa, who is a divorce coach for men. She is, in the short time that I've known her and got to talk to her, she has amazing views and has gone through a lot with different clients that need help and has seen the system. And we want to kind of talk to her and see, her take on things, her take on the system, and how men can get through the holidays, whether you have custody, whether you see your kid for visitation, whether you don't get to see your kid at all. How do we navigate that and, keep ourselves sane? So Hayley, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Adam. It's been a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. I'm very happy to have you on. So I know you have, getting into a little bit of what you do, you are a divorce coach for men. And how or why did you get into this?
How or why? Well, I'll start with the why.
Yeah.
I went through my divorce. I've gone through 2 divorces. And, back then, and my first divorce was 24 years ago, there was no such thing as a divorce coach for men or women. And then when I went through my second divorce, which was over 10 years ago, again, divorce coaches were now starting to emerge. However, it was for women only. It seemed that there were, even today, endless resources for women. There's Facebook groups, there's divorce coaches, there's financial analysts, all geared towards women and moms going through a divorce. And, if you do a search for those professionals for men, there's very few out there for men, which is one of the reasons I decided it has to be better out there for men. Men are so underrepresented in the divorce process.
I completely agree. And that is one big thing that, the system as a whole is, in my opinion, biased. And from what we've talked about, in your opinion, bias or broken, for lack of a better term. It is very hard, regardless of the circumstances, to receive full custody, or even visitation for some people of children during a divorce or a split up or whatever the case may be. And it really breaks you down. When I went through it, it was, I hit a point where I did not know if I could keep going on, because it was, I thought I was defeated everywhere I turned. No matter what I did, I thought I was defeated. And it's great that we've met, because you are absolutely a resource. You have helped several people. And what does that look like, as far as what have you seen, especially around the holidays? What have you seen of, being a divorce coach for men, and when it comes to children and just the divorce in general? What do you see as far as how to deal with certain things?
Such as, are you referring to the holidays?
Yes.
Well, first, let me back up. I've been doing this now for 10 years. So, and I want to also say to your viewers that in the very beginning of my practice, I originally worked with men and women. Okay. And I made that decision within a few years that I wanted to work with men only. And one of the reasons behind that also was because I saw what was happening with men and women going through divorce. I saw that male clients would automatically not even have a chance at having equal shared custody. Whereas, it was just assumed that the mothers would get either, sole custody or more time with the children, which I felt was so unfair. And I saw, because I work with men throughout the United States. So it's not just, here in Florida. This is a problem throughout the US, where, we don't have a starting point where equal shared parenting custody is the starting point, which I personally think it should be. And men should not be fighting and grasping to just get 50% of their time with their children.
Or having that feeling of, if I do this, I'm not going to win. Like, I'm already defeated before it starts. And I feel like a lot of men have that mindset. I know I did. I know that when I sat down and thought about it, I was like, I'm going to lose. And then every scenario went through my head of how I won't see my child. Mm-hmm. And trying to push through that is one of the hardest things that mentally, even physically, it makes you sick to think about that. And it's depressing. It's horrible. I don't believe that the system has enough resources for men, or enough people like you who are very open-minded about the situation. I mean, as far as it being a man and trying to see or have their children, you are a very rare, gem for us to be able to come to.
Well, thank you for saying that. And, I will also say that, my first divorce was a very high conflict divorce, and it was awful. In fact, I always say to this day, and this was 24 years ago, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, what I went through. Mm-hmm. And, I was a very young mother, and I was 28 at the time. And I was thrown into what would become a 14-month custody battle of our 4-year-old son. But long story short, it wound up costing me $60,000. This is 24 years ago. Even today, that is a lot of money.
100%.
100%. I have never received a child support payment. I have never even sought alimony. And, given that horrible experience, many people will come to me, and women usually will say to me, how is it that you can actually support men given what has happened to you? And I say that I'm a mother of a son. My son is 28. And I say to them that I see things also through the lens of a mother. If my son were to get married and, have to get divorced years from now, I want to know that there's going to be resources out there, that he's not going to be alone in the scary, chaotic process of a divorce. And
absolutely,
I also feel that had my ex-husband had a coach in his corner, I mean, I think it would have changed things drastically. I think that if there was a sounding board for him and someone that was going to, support him, things could have gone, I think, smoother. And that is ultimately my goal with clients is I want them to form a healthy co-parenting relationship with their former spouse or ex.
Yeah, absolutely. I think having a coach like you is more than just, she's going to help me, with getting custody or getting this, whatever the case may be. It's you are really an outlet for the amount of breakdowns that client is going to have, because you give them hope, you give them strength, you give them the ability to feel like, that I am right, and I shouldn't have to succumb to, I feel like I'm going to lose, so I'm going to lose. Call good. Not going to try, and just what you do is so amazing to me, and it's refreshing. And you as a resource is fantastic. If we can, we'll throw up her website, and she has different blog posts. You can kind of reach out to her if you have any questions. Reach out to me, and I can put you in contact with her, whatever you need. But she is an amazing resource that I think is going to be, eventually, I hope, is going to be a norm in our system. Well, because at this point, it's not.
No, it's not. And I thank you for the kind words. I really do appreciate that, Adam. And I always say to my clients, they cannot give up. I just finished up working with a gentleman just a few days ago, and we've been working together for nearly 18 months. It's a very long story, but I was finishing up my last session with him, and he kept thanking me profusely for making him see that little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel for this year and a half, and not letting him give up, because he, is a very successful man. He has a wonderful career. He's a good father. No use of drugs or alcohol, nothing. But yet he, like you were saying, believed that he didn't stand a chance, and that he was going to, when I first met with him, give up and just settle for maybe, every other weekend. And I kept saying to him, how can you do that? You are an example to your 3 children. You don't want your 10-year-old son to grow up thinking that when he's a father, it will be okay to give up.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful he hung in there. But Adam, so many men are, like you said, they really believe that the deck is stacked against them. Unfortunately, it's true. I'm not afraid to say it. The family courts are so biased against men. And so men just sometimes just say, you know what, I just want this done. I want out. I can't take it anymore. And that's when I try to come in and say, absolutely not. If you need to yell, scream, and cry it out with me, and we will get you through, we will, but you cannot give up.
Well, and you're very rare, because when I first heard about what you do, I was like, there's a woman who is, I was very perplexed at, and then we had a conversation, and I was like, wow, this is refreshing. This is amazing that you believe and think this way, and see that, like, I mean, either way, either side, either gender, there should not be bias towards either of them. There should be equality.
Of course.
And you shouldn't look at a father and say, oh, you're the father, but that's the mother and she deserves it. Why? We don't know what that, like, a judge does not know exactly what that woman has done or gone through. That's what I went through. I had to prove in many different aspects why my son is more safe and sound and can grow and have a normal life with me than he could with her. And I had to do everything to show that I'm the parent that is there. I'm the stand-up parent. But it took everything for me to show that. There are countless court dates that I went to that I looked a judge in the face and they're like, yeah, but that's still the mother. I understand that, but I'm still the father.
Right.
So just because she's standing up and saying, no, I want my kid, doesn't mean that that's the best option for the child. I feel like in my opinion, I feel like courts look at everything and they say, well, but the mother, that's the mother. They don't look at it and say, this is what's best for the child. And that's realistically what should be looked at.
Absolutely. And that's why we need change. It's one thing to talk about it, but we need people to go, to the different states and make those changes. People, have to write into, their senators, the people that they vote in, and say that we should absolutely start with equal shared parenting. And if there's circumstances that say absolutely not, the child is unsafe, then you go from there. But that should always be the starting point across the board.
Absolutely.
And
I feel like the starting point is always, when you look at it, the starting point is you walk in, a man walks into court, woman walks into court, and immediately the woman already has the upper hand. And that feeling is so defeating. Sitting in that chair and being like, why?
Right.
Why when you know nothing at all yet? We just sat down. You know what I mean? And I feel like there's a kind of a preconceived notion that men can't take care of a child or be a father and be what the
Yes.
child needs. That's
Absolutely.
not fair at all.
Absolutely. Yeah. I couldn't agree more with
It's
you.
just so perplexing to me how several different groups of people have fought for different equalities, whether it's race, gender, sexual orientation, it doesn't matter. But when it comes to this, nothing's changed for years. It seems like there's been no progress. Because if there was progress, there'd be more resources like you.
I agree with you, Adam. I think there's just like one or two states that have now changed, going to the equal shared parenting. But there's very little change throughout the country. I agree with you.
Absolutely.
100%.
And when you think about it, when you look at that statistic, you can type in on Google that, what states are mother states. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That shouldn't be a thing.
Right.
There shouldn't be mother states. There should not even be a search for it. It should be equal across the board.
Here's the thing.
It isn't. You
want to hear my theory is this, and I say this all the time when I'm being interviewed, is that society has painted men, fathers in particular, as always the villain and the aggressor in the divorce story.
Yes, I agree.
And men are more likely to become victims of false allegations than women. 62% of false allegations are actually made by women. So, what you're saying, yeah, a man walks into family court, and of course you feel that the woman has the upper hand because we have painted the man as this horrible aggressor. And it's really a shame because especially when it comes to false allegations, in the family courts, it's not like the men have to prove themselves. They're not trying to prove them guilty. They have to prove themselves innocent when they're in the family courts, with false allegations. It's completely backwards. So this is also another reminder why I want to work with men.
My King was supposed to be on with us today, but he had a prior kind of engagement that is going to hopefully further his progression with his daughter, because he also has custody of his daughter, which his entire situation, I don't like to speak on it because he's also on this show, so I like him to speak on his situation, but his situation is so much more messy than mine was, because mine was just, she's absent. That she doesn't show up. She doesn't care. And his was false allegations, being arrested for false allegations, going through a whole process to clear his name before he can even start to get custody of his daughter. And he did it. And when he reached out to me, I did everything I could to make sure that he had every resource, but was calm enough to handle everything that was being thrown at him. I was basically just an outlet. You come to me, you scream, right. You yell, you get all of that frustration out, regroup, and then go back professionally and the way that you should be seen because of who you are and what you do for your daughter. The courts never see that. Right. It's never shown without us fighting for it or having somebody like you fight for us. And it's just amazing to me that you as a woman are on the side of men, especially what you've gone through.
Right.
But you are an open-minded, fair individual. And there aren't many of those. No, there aren't many of those when it comes to this topic, because people don't want to even think about it.
No, they don't. And what you were describing, this is one of the reasons, Adam, men are 8 times more likely to commit suicide in the throes of a high conflict divorce or custody issue. 8 times more likely. Think about that. That's a scary number.
So one thing I have really never told anybody, but I am happy to put it out there because I'm obviously through it and here.
Mm-hmm.
Those thoughts came into my head many times.
Mm.
I failed as a parent. I don't think that I can win this. And why am I here without my son? What am I? Why? And there was never really an attempt, but those thoughts were crippling. I mean, the urge to give up on life because of this,
Right.
it's hurtful. Just as hurtful to a woman, don't get me wrong.
I understand.
Just as hurtful to a woman, but men are supposed to be strong and hang in there, and you're weak if you think those things. No, you're not. You're human if you think those things. You're hurt. You're depressed because of the situation, because you feel like you're not being listened to. Well, so it's crazy to me. It really is.
Well, it's one of the
reasons. I think we are about to take a break here in the next few minutes.
Okay.
It is the holiday season, and I do want to have you back on at a later date to continue this discussion.
Yes.
But when we come back, I really do want to get into what you've seen or gone through with clients around the holiday season and how much it affects men, especially around the season when everything is about family and being together. And if you don't have that opportunity, what do you do? How do you get through that?
Right.
Because half of a day on Christmas Day with your kids isn't enough.
If you even have that.
Exactly. My son's first Christmas, we did it together. Actually, we were separated, but I had her come over and do Christmas with my son.
That's nice.
But ever since we agreed that, I have him half the day, she has him half the day. No, it shouldn't have to be like that. Because every kid's like, wow, cool, 2 Christmases, great. Until they reach a certain point and they see, well, all of my friends had 1 Christmas with their whole family together and was happy. Why can't I have my mom and my dad at the same time seeing me be happy? Because I know that I never really had a father. My father and I didn't connect until I was 21.
Okay.
He is actually not giving him any credit at all, but he is the reason why I have fought so hard for my son, because I would never be like that. I would never be that person.
You want to break that cycle.
Exactly. It's no. I mean, he didn't even try at all. So I could not ever imagine doing that to my son.
Right.
Because I don't want him to grow up thinking the same things I did, that I did something wrong, that I was the problem. In no way is the child the problem in this.
Right. But children do internalize it, just what you just said. Exactly.
Absolutely. And they're afraid to say it.
Of course, which is another reason why I say to clients, you cannot give up.
Exactly.
You just cannot give up. Your child will think that you abandoned them for something that they've done, which of course we all know is not what the reality is, but that's how children interpret it. So I applaud you, Adam, for, seeing it through. And it's not easy. I understand that. I've walked that walk myself. And, as a mother and you as a father, you just say to your child, you say to yourself, and you look at your child and you just say, I can't give up. This is my child. And I'll fight to the end for the right thing for that child, for your child.
When everything all started, I was holding my son and just watching him sleep in my arms. And there was no way I was giving up.
Right.
From that point on, I looked at it, I was like, I don't care if it kills me. I don't care if I don't care what it makes me look like. I don't care I am not giving up on my son. All right, we are going to take a quick break. And then when we come back, I'm going to have you tell us kind of what you've experienced as far as how fathers handle the holidays, but then also how we get through it. All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys. Stay tuned.
When parents get divorced and become involved in the family court system, there are no winners. Everybody loses, especially the children. I know, because my custody battle lasted years, was completely unnecessary, and financially devastating. That experience inspired SplitSmart. SplitSmart is designed to empower both parents by giving them the structure they need to stay on course for a more peaceful and respectful co-parenting future. For less than amicable couples, our unique line item negotiation approach helps soften sometimes emotional stances into child-centered agreements that both parents can live with. Do you want your children to thrive and grow up with healthy, loving relationships with both parents? How much easier would it be if you could bypass the conflict and create a clear, supportive, and comprehensive co-parenting plan and schedule that's tailored specifically for your family? Can you imagine what it would be like if there were no arguments about money or child support? If any of this appeals to you, if you want to minimize the expense and drama of divorce, do yourself and your children a big favor and use SplitSmart to craft your co-parenting and support plans. And as an added benefit, even if you've done your best and still can't get all the way there, SplitSmart will have your information well organized, so a skilled mediator or family lawyer can efficiently help your family cross the finish line. Visit splitsmart.com today to get started on creating a brighter and more joyous tomorrow for you and your kids.
Welcome back. That last video was great. SplitSmart. That is awesome. Very helpful, I think. That is awesome for parents being divorced and not letting it affect the child so negatively. So we are back. Cece is here with us.
Yes, I hope you guys
is.
don't mind. I've been a little under the weather, so I don't look up the
You look
bar.
great as always. Stop
You
it.
look fine. You look
We'll
great.
get through this, but I wanted to join you all because I think this is really a terrific topic that we're talking about. Dad's going solo, and then of course we've got one of the experts here, Hayley Lisa. She's a divorce coach for men, and you do such a great job. And I know that Adam had mentioned it on the show, and really hats off to you.
Thank you.
Hayley, for doing all that you do, but it is really tough. And, we all want fair and equal rights for both men and women as we go through the court process.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't always work that way. And so it's nice to know that we have people on both sides that try to keep that balance going. And that's truly important. But I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about how tough it is at the holidays for people to get through it, both men and women. But of course, since we're focusing on dads, it really is a very tough time, Hayley, isn't it, for them?
Awful time of year. This is the time for, like you said, for men or women, but we'll speak about men, where just getting through the day is awful. And I have always said that I will work on every holiday, and I have for 10 years, no questions asked. And the reason for that is because it's during weekends and holidays when men need me the most. They find themselves sitting alone, or they're with their family, but there's an empty chair at the table because their child is not there. I'm sure, Adam, you can relate. You're shaking your head. And just getting through that day is, just getting out of bed for some of the dads out there is a big step, and getting through the day. And I know, going through a divorce is never easy, but anytime you're coming upon a holiday season, it becomes so chaotic and stressful on both sides. And, I always ask, my clients to try their best to be amicable, try and take the high road if possible. Ultimately, you want to get through the holiday season on a positive note, if that's possible. Sometimes it's not. And I won't, I will never sugarcoat and mislead my clients and tell men, oh, it's going to be unicorns and rainbows. No, it's going to probably suck for a lot of guys out there. I'm sorry to say it that way, but it will. And they just, have to find the strength to just muster through it.
Yeah. The holidays really brings it forward to us that our lives have shifted, right? That it's moving in a different direction. And so what we have to hang on to, both men and women, I think, is that there is another life that's waiting there for us, one that we can create. And so now, as we're stepping towards the holiday season here, now it's our time to start shaping the holidays as the way we want them. And if by chance we don't happen to have, our child with us, that doesn't mean that the next holiday we wouldn't have them. So, and kids look to us as to, the warning signs. I mean, are we going to freak out and make it hard on them? Or are we going to try to gut it up and get through it the best we can? And then try to come to the other side of it. You know what I mean? So sometimes that's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do.
Not at all. And especially for kids, I mean, this time of year and season is supposed to be magical. Mm-hmm. It's obviously commercialized, but it's what kids see. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of kids that don't feel like the holidays are magical because.
Well, then it's up to us, Adam, to bring that sparkle back. And I think that there's things that we can do to create that. And so if you don't have your child for the holiday, Hayley, wouldn't you say that maybe you could come to some sort of agreement where you could have them a little bit, or you could do something like giving them a present that they open at the house when, so that you're there. You do a phone call. I mean, there's various different things that you can do to still remain active, right?
Absolutely. I say there's 3 things that I always recommend for the guys to get through the holiday. And the first one is compromise. Now, they may not want to hear that in the throes of a horrible situation and their first Christmas, without their children. But I say try and compromise. Let me give you an example. I have a client now who is so accustomed to making his pancakes on Christmas morning. And the children usually, his 3 children usually open up the gifts, followed by his Christmas morning pancakes. So of course he's very upset. This is the first Christmas. I said to him, look, let's compromise here. Make those, they won't be with him on Christmas morning. So I said, make the pancakes, get in the car, drive the 2 or 3 miles and bring them to the kids so they can still open up the gifts and have those pancakes. It keeps that tradition, 1, for the kids. Okay. It keeps stability for them. But 2, it's showing kindness and compromise to your children. And it can also create a different tone in your co-parenting relationship with your ex.
Right. Absolutely. And I think you're right, Hayley. I think you're right with regards to if you start with that mindset of compromise and that you want what's best for the children, you're going to work out something that's equally good for both of you. Generally speaking, I mean, I think you can make that happen. I mean, there's going to be the odd ones where you're going to really have a hard time. But yeah, so it's really about putting those things in place. And I think that was a great idea.
Yeah, compromise is something that is hard to do when you're emotional. I get it. But ultimately, this is especially this time of year, you have to show a little compromise to get through it. And you're going to get through it and you'll feel better knowing that, your kids are having pancakes. You may not be there with them, but they are still having your pancakes just in a different way. And then the other thing I tell the guys is, you're good. I always tell the guys to create a new tradition. Okay, so Christmas, you're used to having, your wife at the table and your in-laws and you have a whole tradition. That's changed. So why not create a different Christmas tradition? Why not have a bonus Christmas the next day for your children so they can get that year 2 Christmas holidays? It's all about starting new traditions. And I think that if you go in with that mindset that you're going to create new traditions, it also goes with the mindset that you're also going to create a new chapter in your life. You try to move through what's holding you back.
Mm-hmm. That's excellent.
I do.
I agree.
Then the third thing is, I say, if you're not with your kids, take some guy time. You know, okay, you're going to miss them. Yes. But go have some beers with the guys, or go biking with the guys, go to the gym, you know, go play cards with your friends. Just do something for you and time with other adults. And it's
Absolutely.
not, you know, it's very important that, like, for women, you know, we need to go and see our female friends and have, you know, our girl time. Same thing with guys. Guys need that, especially during the holidays. Men need that shoulder to lean on, and, you know, distract yourself, go see your friends, go to their house, you know, for drinks and
Yeah, and there are other dads out there in the same boat you're in. So
Absolutely. And that's
connect
what we're
with
trying
them.
to create here
Yeah.
is that exact thing. I mean, if
Right.
you need a place to, you know, you need a phone call, you need a place to come have a beer and talk, you know, just do something for you if it's not possible to be there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And the holidays are hard because everything is, for adults, a lot of time everything is hectic. So that piled on top of it doesn't help anything. And
But it's all
getting to be
about,
able to
Adam,
have
it's all
that.
about shifting your mindset. It's all
Yeah.
about
Absolutely.
that shift that we create. And so we can sit back and say, okay, we're going to be in misery and this is going to be the worst Christmas ever. And guess what? Next year, we're going to have to go through it again. Right. So
Exactly. It's going to happen every year.
Shifting that and start, like Hayley said, let's start putting some new traditions in place. Sit down with the kids beforehand and talk to them and say, hey, we're going to shake it up a little bit this year. We're going to do something a little bit different. They don't have to know it's because of the divorce, right? You're going to go to mom's here, then you're going to come to me. We're going to do this. I'm going to, you know, and just be all excited about it. They don't know unless we tell them that they're misery. You know,
every child feeds off of the energy that the parents give out. And if we are trying to be joyous, happy, compromise, and be there, they're going to see that and they're going to have a great time. If we're going to try and be argumentative and hurtful and yada yada, they're going to see that and they're going to have a terrible time. And
thanks, Graham.
Thanks, Graham. You're awesome, dude. No, it's I'm very happy that we had this discussion today. I know we don't have a whole lot of time left. But Hayley, do you have any holiday traditions that you and your family do?
You know what? My son and I, you know, we're a very small family. So right now, our tradition is playing cards, watching really cool movies, having a good meal, and honestly taking stock of how grateful we are of what we have, and that we're together, and that we have peace. And so there's not a lot, you know, there's many people out there who don't have their health and they don't have their peace. And so, you know, my son, his name's Colby. Colby and I really try to spend the holiday, you know, really showing or thinking about gratitude and how grateful we are to have what we have and each other.
Thanks, Jill. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Mom. That's my mom.
Is that your mom? Thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
Communication is the key for both children and adults. That's so true.
He's right. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Absolutely.
that's really the key, Hayley, is to really step back and appreciate what we do have, you know,
Absolutely.
be grateful for everything that we have. And maybe we have a little bit shorter times with our kids, but then we can work on ourselves to be a better person. And I think that's a really important thing. So everyone, you want to reach out to Hayley. Her information is right here. She's a divorce coach for men, and it's thedivorcecoachformen at gmail.com. And then it's the same with the website, right?
Yes.
.com. Yeah. So it's divorcecoachformen.com and is our website. She's got blogs on there and all kinds of information on there that will help you. But send her an email, let her know that you heard her on the show here. And, you know, if you have any questions or anything that you're going through that I know, Hayley, you'd be more than happy to reach out to them.
Absolutely. Reach out. I always do a 1-hour consultation for free. But like I said earlier, I work on every holiday. And so if any of your viewers find themselves, you know, in the throes of a holiday where they just can't cope, you know, by all means, my phone number's on the website. Just give me a call and I will answer.
Yeah, that's great. You're
Thank
so wonderful.
you, Hayley, so much for coming on the show. And
thank you both.
You are an amazing human being, and
You're
I
so
am
kind.
honored to be able to work with you.
Adam, thank you so much. I look forward to us, maybe getting together again. I'd love to be back on the show where we can really address, the biased court system, and how dads, deserve equal time with their children. I know you would enjoy speaking on that as well. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I
And
would.
coming into the new year, I think one of the first couple shows we will definitely tackle that.
Right.
That is something I am absolutely interested in. My brother will be on next time as well with us. I will make sure of that.
No
But
problem.
it's been amazing to have you with us.
Thank you.
CC, always amazing to have you with us.
Yeah, sorry.
I do
look
want to
kinda
bring up.
yucky. I'm sorry.
You don't.
I wasn't
You look
planning on being on
fantastic.
the show, but whatever. But it's an important issue, and it's one I think that's. I think guys, I've always been real partial. Again, like you, Hayley, I went through a really tough divorce, and I realized that it's not. We need to all have fair rights. We should all be going through the process without aching and hurting our families. And I think there's just a better way of doing it. So that's what our shows are about, and shifting that mindset. So not only what we're going through today, but as we move through, we'll have a better tomorrow, and our children will be better for it. And so, because we don't get divorced because that's really what we want, right? It's not, we don't get married planning for divorce. So
you don't get married planning for divorce.
Yeah. And so if we get divorced, we think it's going to be better for our families. And so that's just the way it is. And we have to live through it and the best we can. So again, everyone, we have Hayley Lisa here. She's a divorce coach for men. Her website is thedivorcecoachformen.com. Her email is thedivorcecoachformen@gmail.com. So please reach out to her. She's got a wonderful website, lots of information on there for you, Dad. So please take advantage of that. And then her phone number's there if you want to call her through the holidays here. If you're going through a rough time, we want to be there for you. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you both for having me. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll definitely have you back. Thanks, Adam, for letting me pop in.
Absolutely. I do want to, while I have you, CC, and Hayley, you can kind of see what we're trying to build. CC has been working tirelessly on making the Going Bold Network website, but also the Dad's Going Solo website. Right. And that is going to be I want it to be another resource, kind of like Hayley has in her website. So I am so thankful that you are doing that. And I'm so happy to be a part of it. So please, everybody, stay tuned. See what's coming next.
Yeah, we've got a lot happening in the beginning of the year. We're going to have the websites up, the Going Bold website and the Dad's Going Solo. We're going to connect with professionals such as Hayley Lisa here to be able to, bring really good help to people that are in need. And then also we're going to try to put together some summits and some activities that I think will be really good, both online and in person. As we start developing more with the, COVID, getting out of that, hopefully a little bit more, we can do more things that are not online. So, but if we have to do online, we'll go online.
Absolutely. And, I want to wish everybody who's tuned in or who will watch this after it's posted a very happy holidays. Thank you for coming in and seeing what we had to say today, and a very happy New Year, because I don't think I will see any of you until after the New Year. Yeah. So I am very happy and motivated for this next year with the group of people that we have here to push forward and really give some resources to dads, but also the Going Bold Network to really connect people. I'm excited to see where this goes, and I'm blessed to be able to be a part of it.
It's going to be great. Well, thank you, Hayley, very much for your time tonight. We appreciate it.
Merry Christmas and a happy, healthy New Year to you and to your viewers.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. And we'll have you back on the Going Solo Network. So thank you, everyone. Bye for now. You guys are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We are the #1 internet singles talk network, and this is the Going Bold Wednesday. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll catch you back here. Same time, same place. Bye for now.
Merry Christmas.